What's going on, people? Ishamanda YB back once again. So, we've got an update on Frazer Clarke, aka Frazer Denty. Yeah. No, I'm only messing, man. This was serious. It's hard when you're you have all these hopes and dreams, and then bosh, some white collar darling just knock your ass out in the first round. Tragic. Life is that's the way it goes. Yeah, history is written by the victor. All the bums that get knocked out in the first round, no one remembers them. That's like, think about people. How many millions of people do you think just died as bums? That's the majority. So it's one of them ones. Welcome to the club of the bums, Frazer. Essentially, let's call it a better spade here. Anyway, I'm only messing. Frazer successfully underwent. In fact, I told you. Essentially, we got an update on the injuries. I was speculating, as many others did. I thought he had a stroke. I thought his skull was caved in, etc., etc. It turns out it's just a moody broken jaw. Yeah, a moody broken jaw. Anyway, let's get to the release from Boxer. Frazer successfully underwent a minor surgery today. He's feeling well and rested, and will head back to the UK this evening for further recovery with his family. He would like to sincerely pass on his thanks, and we hope for a speedy recovery. Now, we've got some more insight, because the Gareth A. Davis, was no doubt stalking the airport out for Big Fraze, and he caught up with Big Fraze, and this is what happened. This is their interaction. I just chatted to Big Fraze at the airport in Riyadh 5 minutes ago. His wife is with him. He's feeling okay. His jaw is wired. Showed me some pictures of the breaks. 3, I think. His jaw's been broken in. Oh, it's horrible. Horrible game, really, when you think about it. If there was a way not to break bones, it wouldn't be so bad. I guess that is the game, though, right? I mean, ooh, horrible. Horrible. We are on the same flight to London overnight. Very pleased to know that Frazer Clarke is okay. He said to say to Fabio Wardley, "Well done, mate. I've been in boxing a very long time, and no one has ever hit that hard. I'm proud of the 13 rounds we've had together." Salute to Frazer Clarke, man. That's what I can say on this one. Salute to Frazer Clarke. Yeah. I mean, what else can you say, to be fair? You know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones. You couldn't argue the toss, could he? That makes sense. But still, I'm trying to think, who's been knocked out before and still tried to make a meal of it? Wilder too. Wilder made a big old meal out of it. So yeah, you can be a punk, that's for sure. So yeah, salute to Frazer Clarke. No conspiracies here. I think there's some more information as well. Where's the more information? I don't even know where the more information is. It was a real show of class from Clarke, who returned to his feet. Yeah, I mean, how many minutes are we into this one? 3 minutes. Oh no, folks, I'm out of bars here. I'm out of bars. I'm not gonna lie, that's the first time in a while. That's the first time in a while the YB's been spark out of bars in 3 minutes. Jesus. I had a few issues for the first fight, but I got rid of them. Had a game plan. Oh, this is Fabio Wardley now speaking. So Wardley said, "I know that once I hurt someone, I can get rid of them. I had a few issues for the fight, but I got rid of them, had a game plan, and executed it." Listen, we need to get this guy in now. He's proven enough. Although, at the same time, he's only 17 fights in. Why not build him some more? What are the builder fights for him now? Get the Romford Bull in there. Moses Atalma and the Romford Bull. Someone's mentioned Joseph Parker. In fact, I mentioned Joseph Parker yesterday. Parker's not gonna. There's nothing for him in that. He's right. He's there or thereabouts. So he's not gonna be a Parker or a Jarrell Miller. These are all exciting fights. Miller's gonna be right in front of you and got a solid chin. Even though Danny D stopped him, he had to work for that stoppage, and he stopped on his feet. Jared Anderson, yes, he's been knocked out, but he will fight. Yeah, Jared Anderson didn't do Andy Ruiz and start backpedaling like he was against Jarrell Miller, right? He didn't go into survival mode. Anderson will throw his hands based on evidence we have. It wasn't like Bacoli beat him up, but he was throwing. He was trying to throw. But Bacoli's defense was too legit. So we got, yeah, the big dogs. Forget about Wardley with the big dogs yet. Now, if he goes in there, yeah, and knocks out a Jerome Miller, spark out in foot, which is possible. Miller's there to be hit. Danny D hit Miller a lot of times. He's there to be hit. And he doesn't have massive power, if I'm honest. Miller doesn't. Miller's probably the best play right now. Yeah. Wardley can look good against Miller. I'd back, if the odds are good enough, I'd back Wardley against Miller. Who else have you got? And Andy Ruiz. I'd say, Wardley can look bad against Andy Ruiz. Yeah. Them hands are quick. And you saw what Andy Ruiz does with leaky defense. And Fabio Wardley is irresponsible with a D. That's just a fact. So when he's looping them big overhand, when he's looping them big right hands, bash, the left hook coming from Ruiz. That's what it'll be like that. It'll be one of them ones. So entertaining potentially though. But Miller, from a building point of view, I'm leaning towards Miller or Anderson. Anderson's just lost though. Essentially, Wardley's coming off a good win. So it should really be winners versus winners. And maybe you do Andy Ruiz versus Jared Anderson. Yeah? Get them in there. That's what should really happen. You shouldn't have winners against losers. There's no point. So we've got to focus on winners here. Wardley versus Miller. There was another name I was thinking of. Wardley versus Miller. That's really it then, isn't it? He's not going to fight Dillian White. Someone said Wardley versus Chisora. No. That's not good, folks. I don't want to watch that. Wardley knock him out early. That's what would happen. Devastating fashion. I don't rarely bet on a KO. Wardley would knock Chisora out because he's too long in the tooth. And that'll be who can swing the hardest. It's Wardley, man, all day. It's Wardley all day. It really is Wardley all day. So, no, definitely don't put Chisora in there for that fight. Chisora really should be, Turkey should put Chisora on and get Wilder back in there. That's the kind of leagues we're talking about. Wilder's finished. Chisora could do okay against Wilder because he's scared to throw his hands. You don't put Chisora in there with Wardley. That's what you don't do. That's an accident waiting to happen. So we've got Miller. Who else has won recently? I think that's probably the fight to make. That is the fight to make. Fascinating fight. And I got Wardley all day. Too big, too strong. But at some point, well, who knows? It's a bit like the whole AJ fallacy with the right hand situation. Oh, I've just got to dip down and bang my right hand and I'm knock everyone out. It's working so far. But at some point, he's going to have to tighten up, man. At some point, someone's going to be able to take the shot. Well, I mean, look at the first fight with Clarke. I think what Wardley put right was he came out too cautious in the first fight. He let Frazer Clarke get a rhythm half going. This fight, he comes storming Norman. That works at this level, right? This works at that level. The next level above, Miller. We need to see Miller. That's what we need to see. Because if he sparks Miller out and does a better job than Danny D, we can then say, ooh, this really isn't a fluke. For me, Frazer Clarke, I tend to lean on the chinny side. Not just because he got knocked out, but everything that touched him. If you watch that first fight, every time he got touched, he was doing wobbly legs. He got knocked down once, but he was on wobbly legs the whole way through. So you have to believe one of two things. Either Wardley hits that hard, or Clarke's chin's a little bit suspect there. And I tend to lean with Clarke's chin's a little bit suspect. Let me have a look now, actually. I'm trying to think about Wardley. I'm sure I saw Wardley was having half a fight with Gorman, right? Wardley was hitting Gorman with all them shots. And he was bouncing off his big... Gorman's got a big old head, though. That's a big old head Gorman's got. A big old bare knuckle head. Where are we, Gorman? Oh, it was only 3 rounds, though. Okay, Gorman down twice in the second. Okay. I thought that was a 7-round fight for some reason. Adelaide was 7. And Adelaide didn't go down to the 7th. Then again, Adelaide was cacking his pants and he wasn't actually meeting Fabio in the middle of the ring. He cacked his pants. He felt the power. So there's clearly something there, but we just don't know it. None of these guys yet. What we can say about Miller is he took licks for the first 6 rounds off Ruiz, no problem. He took licks really the whole night off Daniel Dubois. No real problem until the end. And even then he got stopped on his feet. So if Wardley go in there and knock Miller out, spark, It's hard to say you can't put him then in that next category, the next level up, right? But he's missing that. The question is it right to push him into a Miller fight now or hold him back? But if you held him back, where would you go with that? Again, you have to look at the Eddie Hearn putting the Romford Bull. He ain't putting Johnny Barsh in there with Wardley. He's not doing that. Italma, it's an interesting fight. I don't believe Frank Warren's going to do that either, though. I just don't think they're too young. They're too early on. Even though, really, the Romford Bull and Fabio Wardley, they probably all have the same level of experience, if you're honest. Them man started boxing at like 10 years old. This guy is brand new to the game. So they really are the same experience level, but commercial purposes, there's no way. There's no way Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn are rolling that dice. And you can tell that by the fights they've got them in now. Although Eddie Hearn was running his mouth. Eddie Hearn said, "We want the winner of Fabio Wardley and Clarke." Okay. Okay. I think Johnny Bosch. I think Johnny Bosch's skills, they look okay against bums. He might be half in the fight with Wardley. You just don't know, do you? But fighting Dave Allen, well, we'll see. We'll see. Dave Allen, is he going to turn up? Is he not going to turn up? So, one of them ones. Dave Allen could do half something. He could not as well. It's a complete toss-up. I'm sure there's someone else in the British League. Joe Joyce. You know what? A good middle fight. Above, is it above Clarke? Oh, listen. Whether Joe Joyce is finished now, the facts are Joe Joyce boxed up Joe Parker. That's something no one can ever take away from him. Not even boxed him up, stopped him, popped his cherry for the first time. I do feel a bit sorry for Joe Joyce. Frank Warren, I believe Joe Joyce is still with Frank Warren. He ain't getting the look in edgeways, nowhere. Like, Frank Warren's got all these Saudi shows, and yet Joe's fighting back at the Copper Box or wherever it was against Chisora. It's like, what? Why can't Joe get paid, man? Why can't Joe get paid? So bring Joe in. Yes, he's been a bit down on his luck, but I'm telling you now, Chisora, you can't just... Okay, Chisora beat Joyce. I had a fiver on that and won 20 quid back, because I thought Joyce is finished, but come on now. The life force that Joe Joyce has donated to the game, let him have a chance to get in. What else is Wardley going to do? If Wardley don't get Miller, get in there with Joe Joyce and do a zang on him type thing. Who knows? Maybe Joe Joyce is relatively durable. So maybe Joyce, you'd like to think Joyce, another amateur type cat, top amateur premium, if he can pull it back together and somehow get them brain cells back together. Traditionally, or certainly the Joe Joyce who beat Parker, his jab was A1. And he's bigger as well. Clarke's quite a small, soft heavyweight, I feel. He's not really a big, imposing heavyweight. Joe Joyce is a big, slow, imposing heavyweight. If Joe Joyce can get on his jab, and that can completely disrupt all of Wardley's... and Joe Joyce isn't scared to throw his hands either. He's slow as molasses, but he's not... Clarke was a bit like... He was... Do you know what I'm saying? He was like... Joe Joyce will let the hands go, and he will get clipped kind of thing. That's what's next for Fabio Wardley. Joe Joyce, and then a Miller. Let's get something on the... Yes, Joe Joyce is finished, but let's get something... Let's get another... Why not? Let's get some more experience in there. Some more heavy bag experience. Because I worry that... Not worry, make a scrap of difference to me, but I can see... He's got the aggression. Maybe, like, listen, maybe it can carry him all the way. Maybe he can just go in there and just swing left and right really hard and knock everyone out. That is possible. Very unlikely, though. When you think about the old school heads who were hard, no one really ran in there. Mike Tyson would run in, but he wasn't just thrashing about. Does that make sense? He's moving his head, whereas Wardley's more... It's more of a brawl, and it's working so far. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, folks. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this one. People stop it.